S.888, which was introduced in the Senate of the United States. And it was the sponsor of this bill was Senator Cory Booker. And I remember Cory Booker was, when I used to stay in Newark, New Jersey, he was the mayor at that time of that city. And he is now a representative here from the state of New Jersey of Congress. And let me see here. All right, so Bill S.888, and I'm not going to read this whole thing. I made sure screenshot here just in the video. But so the point of this bill is, okay, I'm going to read a few parts of it, and I'm going to get to the meat of it for us. All right, so throughout the United States history, society has used hair texture and hairstyle to classify individuals on a basis of race. Like one's skin color, one's hair has served as a basis of race and national origin discrimination. Let me see here. For example, routinely, people of African descent are deprived of educational and employment opportunities because they are adorned with natural or protective hairstyles in which hair is tightly coiled, tightly curled, or worn in locks, cornrows, twist braids, Bantu knots, or afros. Okay, so this is in the bill presented to the Senate of the United States. This is Bill S.888. All right, so basically this bill is set up. It is titled as the Crown Act bill, and it is. All right, so this bill is cited as creating a respectful and open world for Natural Hair Act of 2021, or the Crown Act of 2021. So that's the title of this bill. So this bill is basically letting you know, like, okay, outside of race, there are other ways that institutions, public institutions, people of color can be discriminated against, and one of those ways is the hair. And so this bill is saying, hey, we have to enforce some things, put some things in place legally to prevent people of color from being discriminated against because of their hair. And it's true because, again, and let's pick the corporate world, and I've worked in the corporate world. You know, there is a stigma and there is a look, and I am one to say that I gotta be fair. I am one to say that if you are entering a certain industry or a certain industry from a work standpoint, the industry has a certain, policies and procedures and certain looks and certain ways that an employee should conduct themselves, obviously, but then also too from presentational standpoint, present themselves. However, hair, I think is a touchy topic, because if you have long hair, you should not, be discriminated against. Now, of course, if you are, let's say if you are in this corporate setting and, you're in the 500, a Fortune 500, company you're working for, and you're on this, executive team, and you're going out doing business meetings and deals. Like, if you have long hair, you definitely, like me, normally when I'm doing various business, when I'm handling various business matters, I'll pull my hair back and tie it back. Number one, for me, like having my hair loose, having it like in your eyes and stuff, it kind of can be distracting and stuff. So that's number one. And number two, just having it back, I feel like it's just more neat and presentable when I'm in my formal clothing, like in my suit and stuff. I just like that. For me, I like that look better. I'll have my hair down sometimes in certain settings, but most of the time I'll tie it back. I just like that. I really would have it up like this, because for me, I know that I'm going into a certain setting, and that's just the way I feel comfortable presenting myself. Not saying that if I wanted to come like this, should I be discriminated against? I shouldn't, but I do have to understand that in certain settings, when you're around certain people, you have to know how to adapt. And that's the truth. You just can't come in and say, hey, you know, I want to just be this way because this is me. It's like, okay, yes, that's you and that's fair, but you are entering another space that does have certain criteria. Now, fast forward here, though, is that what's interesting is that, okay, we have the Federal Crown Act, which is a law that was put in place. And in this section, an interesting section here, because remember, Barbers Hill Independent School District is a public school district. It's not private. If you're private and you're not receiving federal funds to operate your school, you can have any policy you want to because it's your private institution. But when you are a public institution receiving federal funding, then you can't discriminate based off of the laws. Law is critical. Law is key. It's one thing if there was no law, then there's no premise on where George could stand. But there is law. And so there is a law, a bill that was passed called the Crown Act of 2021 that prohibits discrimination from federally assisted programs to discriminate against people of color because of their hairstyle and hair length, and locks are one of those.